Hey there, BookTube. Noah, everyone who reads must converse. Thanks for coming back by again. Happy Friday. We made it through another week. All that kind of stuff, right? I'm working hard at a new job. Still seems new. There's a lot to learn. It's a huge production this job, but I'm basically in woodworking, carpentry. We do doors and windows. It's pretty fun. Thanks everybody for coming by. And let's get to it. We're going to talk some books tonight. And I have a special kind of collaborative episode in mind. Going through books, of course, just like always. But there he is, my boy. Hey, Chris.
What's up, Noah?
How are you doing?
Doing
Christopher
all right. How about
Robinson.
you, man?
I'm doing well. Friday is always a good day. It's like that end of the work week here. And now we have a 3-day. This is Memorial Day weekend, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I hope you're getting a little extra time off.
Oh yeah. Got the 3-day weekend. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to do as little as possible.
Right. Good for you. Good for you. Very cool. Thanks for coming by. So Fit to be Read. Happy Friday. And thank you for agreeing to come by and do this, man, because I wanted to kind of just throw it out there that this is completely wide open, of course. Alexa, happy Friday. And having you on with me is like having one of my BookTube buddies on with me. We know each other from Instagram. We have book accounts, and there's a community, a great community over there, right? Do you want to speak
Definitely.
a little something to the community? There's a lot of bleed over, of course, but then there's
Sure.
a lot of Instagrammers that don't, watch YouTube videos for their
Right.
book content. It's just where you get your content from, right?
Yeah. Essentially, I kind of bounce back and forth between both. I don't actively create anything for YouTube, but I watch a lot of BookTube.
Right.
Um,
It's a great community.
It really is. It really is. I've gotten there's a reason for the exponentially increasing TBR stack. I never had this problem before I was looped into the whole, oh, what's
Yeah.
everybody reading at any
Till we
given
found
time?
our people, you mean?
Right. Exactly.
Yes. Hey Trish, happy Friday. Thanks for coming by. Falcon, Tyler is in the house. A lot of the people that are in the lives here, Christopher Robinson included, watches the lives and knows the folks, and it's just this cool kind of community we like. Uh, and I think that it's something a little bit deeper than just that we, like the same kind of stuff. I
Sure.
think that the Instagram book community is a little more, there's more of pockets
Yeah.
on it, and on the YouTube community here, it's just that it's so broad that we just love that people love reading and love
Right.
experiencing stories in that way, and
Right.
that's their jam.
Exactly. That's what's so encouraging to me is it's just like, you're told all the time that uh or I heard repeatedly growing up, you talk about the death of the novel and people aren't reading as much anymore. And why
Right.
would somebody read
Constantly.
when they could just watch TV or
Right.
etc.? But I see more enthusiasm, or maybe it's something to do with COVID a little. I don't know, people staying inside a little bit more.
There's
And
been a resurgence for sure, and
yeah,
bookstores are busy around my
yes,
area, man. They're
yes.
busy.
Oh, so busy, man.
It's
You should have
awesome.
seen it. Like when the COVID restrictions kind of lifted and like people went full capacity again, like these bookstores, like
Yeah.
it was just people like tripping over each other. I have
And
never
Barnes and
seen.
Nobles are closing.
Yeah.
Get out. I mean, for real, people.
It's
Sell me
crazy.
sell me my books for $10, $5 a piece on eBay
Right.
for 90% of what I buy. Fine.
Right.
And I'll go to the mom and pop shops, bookstores that know what they got and love literature like I
Right.
do.
Right.
Happy Friday, Steve. Steve Fuller in the
Oh,
house.
Steve Fuller's there. Yeah, man.
We'll be talking about Steve Fuller maybe a little bit later. We'll see.
Sure.
I got some plans for tonight that even my boy Christopher is not aware of. But hey, Travis, what's up, boy? Myers
they
Mega
trying this
Fictional
on
Musings in the house.
shit, man. What's going on, man?
See, so we, and Henny calls us out. Hey,
You can't
I
hide
thought it'd be
what's
a battle of
inside.
the beards, but I went back and I was watching your last live video that you did, and it's great. But I saw the video, I was like, well, he's got me beat on the beard no matter what I do. At
It
this point,
grows too damn fast. Grows too damn
heck
fast.
yeah, I'm wearing my Tool shirt tonight. I got it. I put it on just before.
Oh, hold on that front. No, I have a special surprise for you. Hold on.
Bring it.
Let me see. Well, hold on. Now I can't find it, of course.
Nick Voro in the house.
Shoot, Nick Voro is here.
That's right. Hey, Nick. Happy Friday.
Oh, there it is. Oh no, this is gonna blow your mind, dude. I found this in one of my boxes the other day. I've had this since the 5th grade.
Yes. Enema on tape, on cassette tape. Yes. Dude, I love it.
I've been going through old boxes in my closet of something. I still have this. It's great.
In 99, 2000, I worked for a Borders Books and Music and a Warehouse Music.
Yeah.
It was former Blockbuster, Warehouse Music.
Yeah.
I worked for both of those at the same time. I was going from job to job. I got everything I wanted. So there's so much stuff that I used to have that I even can't find, but I constantly look for that Tool Survival, something like that is what it's called, where they covered No Quarter.
Oh yeah. Okay, that was a little later on. I think
it is later on. It's awesome though, but it's around like Lateralis, before Lateralis.
Yeah,
maybe.
Man,
it's but it's a great kind of B-sides or something,
Sure.
Heck yeah. So I read a couple of things this week. I want to get to that kind of thing, and I wanted to ask you: have you ever read The Tenant by Roland Topper?
No, I've never even heard of that. Hold on,
nice.
Let me grab my pen here.
I don't know if you want to. I mean, you might love it actually. Hey, Daniel Cockrell in the house. Hey, Daniel.
Oh shoot, Daniel.
Happy Friday for sure. Plagued by Visions. Juan, what's up, bro? Happy Friday, man.
God, what's going on, Juan?
And then Emily, my woman, is watching as she is going to pick up one of my daughters from work.
Oh, gotcha.
What a life we have.
Seriously. Hold on, it just occurs to me the lighting in here is fucking awful. So I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna artificially light.
So he turns lights off. Hey, there we go.
No, I was trying to do the natural light, but it's starting to go down out there.
So man, you are a great content creator, and you have been doing a form of content that I love, which is the aloud reading.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's what I want. I always wanted that, kind of growing up. I'm like, man, if somebody would just read to me.
I liked being read to a lot as a kid as well.
So coincidence. You were going through, and you have gone through the complete Proust In Search of Lost Time.
Yeah.
Aloud on Instagram. Was that experience looking back on it on an overall, if you could give us see the whole wood before we get into the details?
It was nerve-wracking initially because I've always tried to, especially poetry. Poetry never really worked for me until I started reading it aloud.
For sure.
It still kind of doesn't. I prefer it aloud. Like the stuff I was reading from Steve Fuller in the Hold On Project the other day. I tried reading like the first few lines of it in my head, but I'm like, wait a second, this is poetry. Why the hell am I doing this? So I started reading it aloud, and that's where I can most appreciate the rhythm and just the way certain words sound next to each other and play off of each other, and just like on a level I can't really get if I'm just reading it silently in my head.
Bro, ever since high school, if I read poetry, and I've made myself do it even in reading fiction now, for maybe the last 5 years, where in my mind I'll slow down enough and really give inflection to dialogue, all dialogue,
Yeah.
every bit of dialogues, and then I get so much more out of it, I think, when I
Yeah.
really put a voice to it. And poetry really requires, like, calls for a voice, whether that be a female or a male or harsh
Yeah.
or soft or
Right.
weeping or
Any which
elated.
way, yeah.
You have
That's
to
a
have that.
fascinating thing in and of itself. I used to love things like that where you could, like little, in the classroom in high school and stuff, we'd go around and just the way everybody reads things is different, and it's
Right.
especially with poetry. Oh my
Right.
goodness.
And see, you notice I don't do poetry content on my
Yeah,
channel because it's so subjective and it's so, you know,
yeah.
and it's all right.
Yeah,
Right? Like, if somebody, you
yeah,
know, experiences a poem, I don't want to ruin that for them. I don't want to give even a different thing
sure.
even that they're not into and say,
Right.
hey, the book, anything. It's poetry is like, there's almost something kind of, it's like a sacred form of the written word that we all love, you know?
Yeah, it's something special. Not everybody can do it, myself included. It's not something that comes easily, you know. I don't know.
No,
I have intense admiration for anybody that can rightfully call themselves a poet.
for sure. Uh, I haven't got through Stephen Fuller's poetry yet in the Home Alone project, but it's
Oh.
there. So the tenant is there. We go. Plagued by Visions called it out. It was made into a film by Roman Polanski
Oh,
back in
okay.
like the 70s. It's
Okay.
a
Yeah.
it's an avant-garde small book novella.
Yeah.
It's very weird. You're
Yeah.
kind of in like Russia. This guy is sweating getting an apartment. He finds an apartment. He pays an exorbitant fee, but he gets in there. Everything's seemingly cool, but his neighbors are banging on the ceiling, telling him to be quiet. At 10, he becomes really obsessive really quick about how he's being perceived and the neighbors, and not wanting to lose his place and not and pissing people off and all this kind of stuff. And it gets nuts
Yeah.
before it goes completely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And it does. This
Yeah.
is on the level of like Obscene Madam D by Hilda Hilst. If you guys saw me cover that on my channel, it gave me Obscene Madam D vibes. It's I don't recommend it. But it's, you know,
Yeah, I
if
might
it
have to
sounds like you might like it,
it
you
does.
really might like it.
It really does.
Hey, Jesse reads and meditates.
I
Thank
have
you.
incidentally seen the movie. It was a while ago, but I do remember quite liking the movie. Sorry.
Yes, all good. Yeah, I have never seen it. I don't know if I want to now. The book is uh, is
The book
enough.
is
It's
enough.
cool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need. I'm not a big cinephile. I do love movies. I watch a lot of movies. Not big. I mean, of course, I love Chinatown.
Yeah.
Why not? Well,
The great one.
if I see the Tenant on, if I see it somewhere, I'll watch it. But I'm not going to go for it. I've already read the book. I don't really worry about it too much like that. Like the new Dune stuff coming out. Yeah, I like it. I like that kind of stuff. But I love the Dune series, and I don't care what they do.
Yeah.
Even if they destroy it, man, go read the books. Fine. It's still there.
Right. It
Too cool.
doesn't negate the book. Yeah.
Too cool. So you're a big literature guy, and I wouldn't want to box you in nothing like this, because I read all kinds of stuff, and I love my literature, like a
Yeah.
capital L literature,
Yeah.
as much or more
Sure.
than any genre stuff I might read or whatever.
Yeah.
But you get pulled into in creating, and especially in the booktube YouTube side, in creating content on fiction books, primarily
Yeah.
just fiction books, and even accessible fiction, because it's a community. Everybody's having fun. Everybody's
Sure.
reading. We want to read
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. And there's, of course, always read alongs for Faulkner, various books going on, and Toni Morrison, and,
Yeah.
just these staples, these wonderful writers. But I was wondering, what if you had any plans in the future on your content creation, and if you feel any of that kind of thing with genre pieces, like what kind of content you might want to go for,
Oh,
or
sure.
what your interests are.
I don't know. I've been thinking about that. I think the next thing, if there's anything planned, the only thing I definitively have planned is on June 16th, Bloomsday.
Yes.
I'm gonna read my favorite chapter of Ulysses.
Fantastic.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Go for it. Fantastic.
I
Can't
don't
wait.
know what time, but yeah, I'll make sure to hype it up ahead of time. I just know it's got to be on Bloomsday.
Right.
It makes
Cool.
sense, you know.
Very cool. We've done some cool things for Bloomsday. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Um,
I read Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man for the first time, a
yeah.
Bloomsday kind of event, uh,
Yeah.
a year ago or two. It was very fun.
Yeah.
But here on YouTube,
Sure.
awesome. Hey Nancy, happy Friday. Thanks for coming by. I love Nancy. Uh Moon Palm on Instagram and on YouTube, but uh a great account. And see, the content creators, most of the content creators that you see on my lives and stuff, if they're not booktube content creators, you best believe that they got an Instagram feed of nothing but books. I love this stuff.
Oh yes.
So I bring it up because I just read a fantasy book this week as well.
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
reading The Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe. Right? The Book of the New Sun is four books, 4 volumes. They're all pretty short,
Yeah.
250 pages,
Okay.
something like that, maybe 300 a piece.
Yeah.
So it's 4 books, The Book of the New Sun. But this thing is like, I've only read the first book. It's called Shadow of the Torturer,
Yeah.
and our main character is like a freaking executioner, torturer, crazy person. A million years in the future,
Huh.
the sun is dying. Their sun is red. Their sky is deep blue at noontime.
Yeah.
Their world is different than ours, and it's so covered up, and you're just layers on layers on layers of culture and history, and you can't even these
Yeah.
people, nobody knows
Yeah.
how many cultures and cycles humanity has gone through, but there's so much that it's oppressive. There's so
Right.
much, and it's a very decadent kind of society. We've gotten, everything's a crazy level, but it's on the level of like Star Wars or something. This
Yeah.
thing is big. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see how far he takes it in 4 books. And
Yeah.
I love my sci-fi, but this is like a real sci-fi fantasy, but very literate, very literary, where I
Yeah.
was thinking, getting vibes of Dan Simmons' Hyperion series.
Okay. See, I
One of
still need. I'm weak on fantasy. Like I don't know what to do. So I'm writing that one down because that's what I need is recommendations from
Yeah.
people who know
Well,
about these things. And
Dan
but
Simmons,
Dan Simmons has been recommended to me by several different people that like
yeah.
really highly. So I need to track down some
It's
of
like a
that.
sci-fi slash fantasy, but it's really, it's something else. What he
Yeah.
does with that is epic.
Yeah.
It's an amazing series. But those are 4 big books. Or they're 2 really big books is what it
Yeah.
really is. The
Yeah.
first 2 books are one book and the last 2 books are another book. And man, it's badass. It might be my favorite fantasy or my favorite sci-fi series.
Yeah.
Even more than Dune. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just Hyperion is really, really good. But, you know, I Dune will always put up a good fight, that's for sure. So I've been thumbing through a very special book lately. And here we go. I'm just gonna, let you know that I was thumbing through a very special book lately. And just before I got on on here with you, I was revisiting some
Oh
of
yeah.
this beautiful
Yeah.
edition here. This is the Holon Project,
Yeah.
a wonderful kind of community project going on
So
primarily
good.
over on Instagram. You want to say something about what the Holon Project's all about, Chris?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, it's a new literary journal that Daniel uh, kicked off. God, what was that? The end of January or something when it was first announced, or it was
Yeah. When he just said he was going to do it, started talking about it, and it was like,
yeah.
I don't know what this is, but I'm super down for it. Hey man,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
doing? And
Basic
look how beautiful. I mean, he's done an
seriously,
amazing job.
seriously. And Daniel was one of those guys that I talked to for a while. Just one of the one of my favorite accounts on Bookstagram because we have so much overlap and like he's got so many cool editions that I just wish I wish I had. So I love to look at his page and live vicariously through
So,
him.
I mean, it's such a it's a really a gift. I mean,
Yeah,
he's doing a service and a gift for the community. And
for sure.
that's why I wanted to ask you, you know,
Yeah,
say a little something about it from somebody who's been, you know, uh
yeah,
featured,
yeah.
even showcased, because
Right.
these are these are you know, it's a wonderful thing to support a
Oh,
project like this of independent writers
yeah.
and from our community.
Oh yeah.
Even the book itself is a collaborative work. This artwork is
Yeah,
another
Sam Pink. Yeah,
wonderful independent artist that
yeah.
contributed. It's killer.
It's so cool.
And you wrote some flash fiction stories for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were that's I have like a thing where it's really hard for me to make them long. So a long time ago, I just started trying to pare them down more and more. So those are one most of what's in there. Those have like actually been in the works for quite a while, but
Sure.
I never I never showed them to anybody other than like my wife. And I showed one of them to Cactus Boots, Phil Friedenberg, and um, just to see, and they liked them. So when Daniel announced the Hold On project was taking submissions, I I had a beer, and I have a very low tolerance for alcohol, so that beer had me kind of, you know, feeling it. And I just on a whim, I was like, okay, you know, it's time. I might as well try submitting them someplace. And
Courage, baby.
yeah,
Hey, yes, I love it, Chris. I love it,
yeah,
man. And that's just what I was gonna ask. Is like, well, what did it? You know, you were inspired
it's
by it,
freaky.
or
Yeah.
what? And it's like, yeah, just letting down the barrier there for a second, you
Yeah,
know,
it
by
was
any means
just
necessary. And thank you so much for it, because I really enjoy your stories here. I
thank
wanted
you.
to ask you a
Yeah,
little bit, if you don't
sure.
mind, you know, because you did some reading on on your Instagram of your stories too, right? So people can just kind of experience them if they want.
Yeah,
If they're not down to jump into the Holland project as a supporter like that, right?
sure.
But of course, you know, we should. So
That is one thing I didn't save the video afterward. I said that that was only gonna be like a live thing because I don't wanna st first of all, I haven't read everything else that's in there yet, but everything that I have read in there has been, like, pretty damn amazing. I mean,
right.
it really incredible stuff, and now I mean, to know that like my stuff is sandwiched in there between all of that good. I mean, it's just daunting.
You know, I'm so glad you got on tonight, because I mean, I feel like if we, you know, if we lived in the same town and by chance got a job together or something, that we'd be fast friends and be hanging out outside of work and stuff like that.
For
We, you
sure.
know, our personalities always complemented, and always kind of, I could feel that we would feed each other and,
Yeah.
and really have a lot of fun. And you are under all that, you know, bushy manliness there. You're just a sweetheart, a nice guy, and
It's
you
hard
know,
to hide.
kindness wins. I mean, every in the final last analysis of it, you know, I
Yes.
mean, we're, you know, and
Yes.
I love your thoughts. So I mean, really just following your content, and you see how this kind of thing seeps out. I wanted to keep my content, and I still do keep my content very branded.
Sure.
I don't really show pictures of my family and stuff like this, and it's not about me
Yeah.
personally. It's about what I love. It's about the books.
Yeah.
But you can't help but yourself uh, get out there, your personality show, and all that kind of stuff.
Right, right. It's gonna come
And
through.
you sharing yourself is one of my favorite things, brother.
Thanks, man. I'm glad somebody's out there and doesn't find it grating.
Kind of some creepy stuff from you in here, though. Okay, what
There's a
was that?
little, yeah,
What
yeah,
was the one? Yeah, Pinehurst.
yeah,
It
Pinehurst.
starts off with the creepy one here,
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, and he's done it, and he's made me read it again, and he's
yeah,
made me read it again. You know,
yeah,
like that's the flash fiction kind of gold right there. I think is when you're like, okay, yeah, I gotta read this a few times. This
sure.
one page or two pager turns into a 4, 5, 7
Yeah,
pages of reading and really thinking. And
yeah,
what was what I mean, and I can't talk about it much because you don't want to spoil anything with a flash fiction work.
sure.
But
There's not much to
it was cool.
spoil with that one. It's like just kind of, I don't even
I
really
don't
know what
want to
to
give
say with
people
it.
anything, you know. I'm all about letting the author. So if you want to talk, yeah.
Sure. Pinehurst. Pinehurst is I'm gonna sound really incoherent probably about this and not very impressive
We can
because
talk about a different one.
yeah, I mean,
Daniel, I love you. We love you, dude. You did it. We're talking we're talking, you know,
sincerely,
I mean, it's freaking beautiful.
it's
I
so
want to read
beautiful.
this one until it's, you know, all loved up, and I want to get another one. Can I get another volume 1, right?
You gotta
But
have a backup for your backup, you know.
one we can talk about and not have
Yeah.
to hone in on the story itself, but talk about what the story brings up is blots.
I have
And
lots.
I like it a lot. And it's probably the longest one of your efforts here, right?
It
Page and
is,
a half,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Page
And
and a half.
so a real what I call and something that I feel affinity for, why I brought it up that we're going to be buddy, you know, I feel
Yeah,
like we'd be buddies, uh, is a healthy horror for the world
sure.
and what what humans do in
Yeah,
large numbers,
yeah,
especially in a technologically minded
right,
idea of success and
right,
growth.
right.
So it was cool how you built it, because I was like, well, you know, he's passionate about it, definitely passionate about it, how he's setting it up, and then it just really is a kind of a heartbreak,
Yeah.
you know.
It's essentially a rant that ends in like a heartbreaking kind of self-realization of one's own powerlessness. Like
Right.
it's just because you can't like it's all Blotz is a guy sitting on a hill watching new buildings get built kind of far away, but in his city, and they get taller, taller, bigger, bigger. You know,
Yeah.
they just keep building them for some reason, and it's just the inescapableness of progress,
Right.
and it's
Well, what is termed progress under certain
progress. Yeah,
conditions, right?
right.
Because that's the whole real idea, is that, you know, these they've lost something by
Yeah,
gaining
yeah,
in another way.
right.
And we've all made them those kind of compromises, and of course the guy in the woods has as well made
Yeah,
compromises for his comfort and things like
sure,
this. Um,
sure.
but I got those kind of vibes, of course, like, you know, the yeah, what like Walden, you know, Thoreau, go out, you know, and
Sure,
the kind
sure.
of transcendentalist vibes,
Right.
and I of course love
Yeah,
this kind of stuff, you know.
yeah.
Um, so I just wanted to kind of bring that out and see if you wanted to speak to that a bit, because I know there's not a sane uh, person, you know, that doesn't have this kind of inward horror, at least at what
Right.
we're doing, what we've done. When I
Right.
drive to work, sometimes I'm just like kind of look up, and I'm like,
Mhm.
an unbelievable amount of lines going across my vision from these power lines everywhere,
Yeah,
everywhere, freaking
yeah,
what is
yeah,
happening right now? It's insanity.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
in complete insanity. Like everything that just so much waste and so much.
That's the thing.
It's
I don't know what it's like where you live, but around here, I it's just there's a lot of buildings,
yeah,
but it's a lot of empty buildings.
Right.
There's a lot of office space for rent. There's a lot of retail space for rent, and they're still building more.
Right.
Like, I
Oh yeah.
just don't.
That's how it is. That's how it is. That's how it is here too, for sure. It's insanity.
I
It's
don't get
complete
it.
insanity.
I don't get it. You have like miles of empty building space, square footage.
You
Forget square
can't
foot.
stand to have an
Yeah,
open field of trees.
they can't.
You
No.
can't stand to have it.
Yeah, they
You
gotta
know what I
fill it
mean? Like,
in.
what do you do? Why?
Yeah. I think it's just the fear of the empty space or something. I don't
Right.
know. They need to.
Or like the uncontrollability of, an untamed area, an untamed space, it's
Right.
all about control.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I think, if you look at the society and like how because I mean the people aren't doing this. This isn't from the ground up.
No.
So,
No.
all this kind of stuff, it's all about control.
Yeah.
And with that, you have to manage everything.
Yeah.
Even it doesn't matter why. Why is not the
No.
you
No.
have to manage it because you have to manage everything
Right.
in order to have that kind of, in order to do it.
Yeah,
It's
you have
just
to
wild.
control it. You have to control your
Right.
environment for some
Right.
reason. There can be no room for. Yes, it drives me crazy.
But
I don't mean to sound
and you
like I'm
see
some sort of.
how
Yeah.
that feeds this kind of the corporate stuffiness, stuff shirt kind of thing, because these people that are in even in the controlling way, they have to love their
Yeah.
rules and their guidelines and their ways that they're framing everything. And then,
Right.
it's just wild. It's
I don't.
wild, man.
I don't.
And you
I
see it
don't get
happening.
it.
It's like there's enough space, there's enough homes, there's enough space right now for
Right.
everybody.
Right.
Why can't we get,
Why
just
can't we just?
get them in a place, man? There's enough money for everybody. There's
Yeah.
enough food for everybody.
Yeah.
Wait, there's enough gas for everybody.
Yeah.
Wait. The earth is so rich
Right.
that we can F it up for
Yes.
our complete whole lives.
Yes. Yes.
And even before then, but our whole lives we can F it up and we're still okay for right now. Like,
Yeah. For right now.
come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
The earth is,
Yeah. We don't care about the earth anymore.
you're
It's
right.
like it's really sad. I mean, like, forget about like the entire. I don't. It's not a matter for debate anymore. I'm sorry, but there's still going to be the people out there that refuse to accept the idea that the climate can change. But forget that. Why can't we just stop polluting at such an alarming rate? Like, why?
Right.
Just why? It's not that hard. It's
Right.
not that hard.
I mean, it
It's
really takes caring. You can't make anybody care
right. You
about
can't make
something.
anybody care.
Yeah, you
Right.
can't make them think something or believe something, and that.
No. It
And
just
man, and
astonishes me that people are capable of not caring about the thing they're literally standing on.
that's why Blots really works too. Like, because when it
Yeah.
comes down to it, this guy that you're writing overall,
Yeah.
but Blots is an example too. What really lingers and what really goes, the deepest, I think, is the atmosphere
Sure.
that you elicit.
Yeah.
And that's the you know
Yeah.
what you want to do with with the flash fiction kind of thing.
Right. That's the most important thing to me, for
And
sure.
it works, and it totally does. And you get this sense, of a character that is actually a pretty complex for the piece that he's coming out of, a page and a half,
Sure.
where he's
Right.
not even really, he doesn't have any lines. He doesn't, it's just
No. Yeah.
internal monologue or whatever.
Right.
But he has conviction. He
Mhm.
stands on something. He has a level of conviction, and he's sincere, and he's almost, uh, I would say he's wise,
Yeah.
not sage-like, but but maybe wise
Sure.
is good enough.
I kind of
And
envision him as being like an older kind of, and that's the thing. I don't attach. There's no description of him in there. Just
right,
when I had the idea, I kind of just envisioned just kind of an older, quiet kind of guy who's been around a while, and now this is where he's at, and this is what he's lamenting at that moment, basically.
yeah. But another thing that it brought to mind. You remember that commercial where the Indian, gets a cheeseburger thrown
I
on his foot
do
on the side of the
with the
highway with the
tear.
tear?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah,
and it does. I would say, it's it definitely is in the school of
yeah,
that type of delivery, that kind of that kind of presentation.
sure.
Um, that's funny. Yeah, we'd be our own
Me
biological
too,
ecosystem.
man. Me too.
I could just breathe my own exhalations.
Yes.
Too funny. Too funny. Very cool. So, another thing that popped up in my mind is you know, if we want to talk about the community a little bit, the Instagram community, and there's a difference in the way that we interact, right? Because on
Yeah.
Instagram, you have a messaging that you can message directly with people and have
Right,
conversations,
right.
and do and groups you can have, and
Yeah,
buddy reads, and I've done quite a few.
yeah.
And then you have visual media, pictures is what
Mhm.
it is. And
Right.
it's very cool, man. Just a beautiful feed of books and beautiful, aesthetically pleasing book
Yeah.
pictures is my jam.
Same, same. I gave up on Facebook because I didn't curate it from the
Yeah,
beginning, and it was just a bunch of trash in my
right,
feed all the time.
right.
But Instagram, I kept it really specific. It was either gonna be music, cute animals,
Yeah,
books.
yeah,
That's it. That's all I see when I get on my feed is things that make me happy,
right.
and
Yeah. It's a tool,
is a
just like
tool.
anything else, man. And I
Right.
mean, I don't just slam anything. Everything can be used as a tool.
For
And I
sure.
never did any social media before I started my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I'd abort it. But
Yeah.
with
Understandably
doing it
so.
now, there's ways to do it. It's a
Right.
tool. I mean,
Right.
what matters is the people.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's just, I mean, that's the thing, and that's the thing I never expected. Because like I was, I mean, that was the impetus beyond me, like just abandoning Facebook was just like, God, I just can't stand this. Like I don't even hear any content from people who are actually the people I want to hear from. It's all just this flood of
Right.
other stuff I somehow let in because I felt obligated to for some reason.
Right.
Um, but then when I got on Instagram, it was just like, okay, like I'm not gonna bother with, no offense if you like race cars or whatever, but I'm not gonna follow the race car
Right.
page,
Right.
I'm gonna
Right.
I'm gonna follow the book people
Yeah.
so I can get good recommendations and see things that I wouldn't see otherwise and talk to people I
And see,
would
but that's what
never talk to
creators do.
otherwise. Yeah.
Like you did what creators do. You know what I mean? Like when it's like you have to follow all the people that create content like what that you like, that you
Right.
want to support. You got to follow them and all that kind of stuff. So it just this kind of thing makes builds itself.
Yeah.
It's great.
It
How,
is.
and kind of just to get up into it, because I feel like your story from what you're saying is a lot like mine, where we feel like we really found our people. We found our
Yeah,
element with the respective book communities,
for
YouTube and,
sure.
and Instagram.
Yeah.
And man, it's freaking fun.
It's so much fun.
It's so
It's
fun.
so much fun. It's just like
So
I get to
here's a
talk to
here's a
people about
question that's
books.
right up our alley. You
Yeah.
want it?
What's that?
Justin Roth says, "What Thomas Pynchon book should I start with if I haven't
Whoa,
read him
oh
before?"
shoot.
So I mean, I have a video where I totally let this out. So I'll let you go ahead, Christopher, first
As
before.
far as a starting place, man,
Yeah, I've
that's
never read any Thomas Pynchon. Chris, help! What do I read? Do I go for the slim, super, more, slim?
yeah,
I might not give up because it's so small. Crying of Lot 49, or do I go for something massively more readable, but
yeah.
will kick me in the face like Against the Day?
Right. Okay, and and that's the funny thing. I mean, I started with The Crying of Lot 49 because it was it was the thinnest,
Yeah.
and it was the cheapest at the used bookstore.
Yeah.
And I was 17, 18 and didn't have a lot of money. So I was like, okay, yeah. Let's do Crying a Lot 49. I can
Yeah.
see if I like the other stuff later
Right.
on.
Let's see. Steve says, "Gents, got to run. Awesome seeing you both. Great people, great
Hi,
friends. Love this
Steve.
place. I'm
Love you,
glad you
Steve.
love this place. This place being the ethereal, everyone who reads it must converse space
Yes.
on the internet.
Yes.
But anytime, you're welcome here anytime, Steve.
I love Steve, man.
Yeah, he's great.
He's
So
great.
yeah, so you started with Crying of Lot
I
49.
started with that, and now if you're brave, I honestly think Against the Day would not be a bad place to start at all, because it really, before all hell breaks loose, it I don't know, I think it's some of the most accessible prose anyway that Pynchon has written to date. It's long and it's epic and it's sweeping, but it's not
But
as
it's almost genre
it
pieces.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
right?
really is.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
I mean it's good because you have that to always hold on to. That's the
right.
thing is like with
That's the thing.
V,
There's nothing to hold on to in
yeah,
Gravity's Rainbow. It's just
and
total
V
insanity.
a
And
lot of
V,
times.
yeah, a
And in
lot of
Crying of
times.
Lot 49 sometimes.
Crying of, I was gonna say that's the thing. I started with it, but that is like the densest 150 pages
Right.
ever.
Yeah. And
Ever.
you don't have so with Pynchon there is this, and
Yeah.
there's Pynchon books like
Yeah.
that you don't have a foothold.
Right.
You have to be okay with not having a foothold and continuing on with a narrative, trusting that you're in the hands of somebody who can bring you there.
Yeah. There's a
And you
lot of
have to
faith in
have the
that.
reading comprehension and really be able to do that with an author that's going to throw at you everything
Yeah.
while you're in that space.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
incredible.
so I think you're spot on with your assessments of it. I always do mention that Inherent Vice,
Oh
I
yeah.
think, might be a really good place to start, not only because the story is very fun and it is um it's more of a complete kind of
Yes.
story, I think,
Yeah.
than what
Than
Pynchon
a lot of the
sometimes can do.
others. Yeah.
And you have a movie to keep you
Sure.
kind of where your bearings are at if you start
Yeah.
forgetting characters.
Yeah.
So many of the characters are actually in the movie,
I
but they
know.
don't
It's
they don't
unbelievable.
tell you who they are and how they're related and all this stuff
Yeah.
in the movie.
Right.
But if you read the book, then you'll know. But
Yeah.
the movie helps because the movie is so good, like so faithful.
Yeah. It's a
So
fantastic movie. But yet that is a terrific book. That
yeah,
would,
it's, it,
you know what? Yeah, as a starting place, I could actually see that. That actually makes sense
well, I
because
say
it is really accessible. It's
it's like
really accessible.
imagine if Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas
Yeah.
was done with a private investigator story instead of a journalist.
Right.
That's like how I
Yeah,
think of
that's not far off at all, man.
right,
That's a
Infinite or Inherent Vice.
yeah.
So if you're down for a PI story,
Yeah.
a mystery kind of deal,
Yes.
crazy twists, in
Yes.
over his head. He's in
Yes.
over his head the whole time. I love it.
I do too. It's that book is so much fun. It's
Yeah, it
so
is.
funny. I mean, all Pynchon is funny, but Inherent Vice is really funny.
Yeah, it is. It's real funny. It's
Real
it's
funny.
yeah, Bigfoot is such a freaking character, man. And you get this anti-hippie cop who has a
Yeah.
kind of relationship with Doc
Yeah, big time.
and calls him at night.
Yeah.
and 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 it gets deep. I mean, you get
Oh,
deep with
big time. Yeah.
what the dynamic and who these people are. It's so good.
Yes.
Um, one of the most epic things ever.
Bleeding Edges. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
love
like Bleeding Edge too. I don't know. That one seems to be like people seem a little divided on it, but
yeah.
I
I
like
say
that.
I
I really
always I suggest Bleeding Edge. I love it. And
yeah,
I
same.
suggest it because a lot of people have lived through the time period that
Yes.
Pynchon is using for
Yeah,
Bleeding Edge. That's why I'm like, wait, but that's where you might want to start too. If you
exactly.
lived in New York or
Yeah.
even in a place like New York,
Right.
in the .com boom of, late in 2000, year 2000,
Yeah.
read Bleeding Edge first,
Yeah.
because you're gonna relate to a lot. You're gonna like it.
Sure.
There's so much of that early 2000s, late 1990s popular culture in that
Yes.
book.
Yeah.
So you're gonna love it. So it's different for different people.
It is.
But of course, we could talk about the GOAT Thomas Pynchon all night. I'm not trying to.
He's awesome.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's awesome. I love it. But I used to say, like, I love Pynchon. Everybody, everybody that reads Pynchon loves Pynchon. But not many people talk about him,
Yeah.
because everybody, either or you don't know. But if you know, there's no dispute.
Right.
Whenever you're talking about, like, a great writer or somebody you
Yeah.
love and stuff, you're
Right.
talking about your second favorite
Yeah.
at best. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, he's the undeniable number one spot.
Yeah.
And
He's
and it took
amazing.
me a long time to kind of realize that with me, but
Yeah.
now that when you get in a community and you see, there's a lot of people that love the books that you do love, even
Yeah.
something that you might have thought was your own
Yeah.
uh, special
Little
find,
special
and
secret.
it
Yeah.
kind of takes some of that away
Yeah.
from that, but it's even replaced with something different and
Yeah.
maybe better,
Yes.
because there's other people that you're
Yeah.
sharing it with.
Absolutely, man. I mean, like, okay, so it jiggers back and forth. William Gaddis is like my
Right.
number one most days, at least as far as like American authors go.
Ah,
And it's just down to, like, it was fun when it was me just reading him by myself, but I'm so glad to see other people reading him now.
right,
Like,
right.
and it's just because I had nobody to talk about it with
Yeah.
before.
There's a couple on Insta or on YouTube here that just read JR, just did
Yeah,
a reread, and I'm like, yes, like,
yeah.
read it. It's freaking golden. It's so good. It's
It was
hilarious. I
so
think about
hilarious.
If I start thinking about JR, I
Yeah,
will intentionally keep thinking about JR,
yeah,
so that
same.
I can re-experience some of these funny scenes and be like, that really happened. Gaddis, what a madman.
He's such a madman.
One of the greatest satirists we've ever had.
100%.
Man, I mean, he has such an ear, I
I
was
don't
blown away. I mean,
I don't
totally.
know how you write dialogue like that. I just don't understand how you write
Right,
dialogue like that. He must have had a tape recorder or
right.
something to be able to get the way, like the ahs and the ums and
He
it's
would do that.
ridiculous.
Well, and do that, like, even with a room where the TV or the radio is on and playing, and
Yes.
then transcribe that.
Yes.
Yeah, and do that
While
and
the other
learn
characters are
learn
talking.
what makes that feel, what feels right, what feels doesn't feel right, and then just
Yeah.
work it, baby.
It's it's like nothing else. I can't that book, man.
Yeah,
Book.
so
All
it's
of
very
them.
cool. Do you plan on having something in the future for us, as far as uh literary content writing that you're doing, or
Oh
anything like
yeah,
that?
100%. Like
Cool.
those seven were just my
Stuff
process.
that's been in the drawer.
Yeah, essentially, and stuff that it they're quick to write. Like, I try to get the first draft done as quickly as I can, but it takes forever to edit them.
Right.
Because that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
just
yeah.
sitting there and playing with it afterwards. Like Pinehurst went through, at least, I'm not kidding, at least like 12 drafts.
Nice.
Like
I think it shows.
yeah,
It
thank
really
you.
has a thrust. The thrust really works. It has a
Yeah,
thrust to it, and it immediately whips you back. Like, you get
right.
whipped back around
Yeah.
at the end to the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. Like,
Yeah.
it was good. It was just good stuff,
Right.
That's good words on pages there, baby.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
I loved it. I really
I'm
did.
so glad. I'm so glad because I didn't know what to expect. I love hearing everybody's theories on it too. It's so because
Cool.
I don't that's the before that was why I was going to sound incoherent about Pinehurst because that's the weird thing about it. I structurally I know what's going on. I don't and even the aspects of the plot they're in there deliberately like they mean something to me, but I don't know what is happening. I don't know what the trauma is. I don't know what you get a little bit of it with the upright wielding steel and I'm so sorry. Like it's something clearly traumatic has happened in this person's life and it's almost there on the
Right.
page, but it's
Right.
it's not revealed, and that's
Nice.
simply because I don't know what it is. I That's just how the story happened. It was this backwards thing where I got all of the emotions that would be attached to a traumatic incident or a traumatic event, but absent of the actual trauma itself, it just kind of makes it all very kind of eerie.
It does, and
Yeah.
it works because not only because of this. I mean, it works. You know, I'm saying definitively anything.
Yeah.
I will say
Me
that
either.
I think that it does work because of not speaking it.
Mhm.
That thing that is when it happened, it of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that thing um is a an inside hidden
Yeah.
traumatic experience that
Yeah.
uh you know there is not words for it.
Right.
It is something that is like it's visuals. The medium is not the words on the page, right?
Right.
And I think it works for that.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I gotta
I
admit
hope
that
it
I did
does.
immediately start creating scenarios.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the that's the whole thing. Like it's just creating like a universe that's way bigger than the actual
Right.
piece. Yeah.
Oh, so you're in line with me, the school of the great Borges then, right? This guy freaking, as far
Yes.
as creating something bigger than the words on the page. What
Yes.
the hell?
100%. I really took that to heart. Borges was I'm so glad I found him when I did. I was still a teenager. I was like 16 or 17. I found that weird looking Fiziones book at the used bookstore and was just like, what is this thing? And
He's
then I
spelling
opened it.
fictions wrong on the front.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And
Let's read
then
it.
to get inside of it and be like, oh my goodness, I was already a big fan of like
You know
stuff like
what? One of
Kafka.
my favorite things about Borges and talking about Borges
Yeah.
is how many people love Pierre Menard, author of the Quixote.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That story, when
Yeah.
I read it, I thought it so amazing, and it, like, hits you, and I thought, what is this guy even doing? How do you
Right.
do this?"
Right.
He just delivered to me
Yeah.
in, like, separated quotations, citing
Yeah.
the same thing
Yeah.
and interpreted it 2 different ways and validated them both based on historical context.
Yes. It's so cool. I would
And it's
it's
like
so
people
cool.
love this story. They
Yeah.
they cite that one a lot when they if people say, "Oh, I love Borges, Pierre Menard," and I'm like, really? Like
Yeah.
that story really, is
It's a
something
weird one.
amazing, special. Like it's so
It
unique.
really is. Yeah.
Is that done? It's like that's done. I think a little what Borges could do is so rare,
Right.
the rarest of birds, kind of thing.
Right. That's the thing. I don't think you'll ever really see another I mean, I'm sure that's a little bit broad to say. Like there could be another writer like Borges or influenced by Borges.
Calvino.
Calvino, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
Calvino's
Calvino's.
He's wonderful too. You know, it's just maybe that's the thing. Like anything,
Right.
anybody who got touched by the Borges influence
Yeah.
is is okay in my book. You
Oh
know.
yeah. Well, I came to Calvino first.
Yeah, that's
Before
interesting.
Borges for sure. And then
Yeah,
I thought when I read Borges, I'm like, nobody's like this guy. Maybe Calvino.
right. Maybe Calvino. Calvino is like is that's interesting because I found Borges first, but it was only that first one. It was only Ficciones that I read before I found Calvino for the first time.
Nice.
And God, two of the most charming writers like
Yeah.
ever.
Oh yeah.
Just
They
ever.
charm
They
the
make me
reader. They're
smile.
your lovers.
Yeah. Like
They love you, you love them. They are giving
yeah,
you exactly what you need. They're showing you new ways of thinking and expressing and giving you, exactly what you want is a mind
right,
expansion through literature, a
right,
mind expansion through words on a page.
right.
And they can, and, they strive for it with
Just
everything, with every word.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. You don't devise scenarios like that unless you're trying to have a good time.
Right. That's right.
It's just too
The
much fun.
innuendo is off the charts.
Oh, it really, yeah,
But and it's right in on brand though, because when it comes
yeah.
down to it, Calvino is such a very sensual kind of writer
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
and there's so much warmth in there too. It's not just it's not clinical experimentation.
Right.
It's genuinely warm in most
Yeah.
of like in
Filled with life,
yeah,
filled with vigor.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
for and I don't know, I'm sorry. That's still something that really impresses me about If on a Winter's Night a Traveler is the
Yeah.
fact that you can have a book like that, but like I actually care about those characters.
Dude, I care. I love that book.
It's amazing.
It's so many wonderful starts.
Yes.
And then the people and the action. It's action packed. Like it's
Yeah.
such a high level of you're
Yeah.
invested.
Right. It's a
You get
page
so invested in that book.
right. It's a page turner that shouldn't be a page turner.
Right?
Yeah. It
and
really
and and
is.
he's got you on the strings up there.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
he's
Oh
a
yeah.
writer, like the genius doing
Yeah.
something that you don't expect. You're not ready for.
100%.
I love it.
I was not ready for it.
Anytime I can turn somebody onto if on a winter's night a traveler.
Yeah.
Hey, you like epic fantasy? Read If I'm on a Winter's Night a Traveler.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sure.
you like horror? Awesome. Read on If on a Winter's Night a Traveler. Like it's gonna work.
It's
It's
gonna work for pretty much everybody.
They're
Yeah.
gonna be like, what the hell? And then
Yeah.
they will be sucked in.
Yeah.
The first chapter start is great. The
Yeah.
second chapter start, then you're like, what is happening? But that
Yeah.
was great. And
Yeah.
then it does it again, and you're like, am I
Okay.
really about to be jerked around like this for 200 more pages?
Oh yeah.
And then you're on you don't
Oh
realize
yeah.
the train has already left the station.
Yeah. It's too late. It's too late for you. If you're making it to three to chapter whatever 3 and 4,
Right.
it's over. I'm sorry. I don't know. You're a stronger person than me if you can put it down at that point.
Right.
I'll say that
No.
much.
No way. Very, very cool, brother. I will link, and I didn't do it before the live. Sorry, I was
Oh,
busy
that's okay.
getting going, after
No
work
worries.
and getting ready for the live. But I will link your
100%.
Instagram down in the description box. I'm going to
Yeah.
link the Hold On Project down in the description box as well. Feel free
Yes.
to check it out. Christopher Robinson is not the only
Hard.
bearded Instagrammer on the table of contents. I'll give you a little bit if you want to pause the video.
Yes.
I did a short with this. I did some other content. You can find it, or just go to the Instagram link and get it from Daniel himself. He's a badass.
No,
So
totally.
very cool. Thank you for jumping on with me, Chris.
Absolutely, Noah. Thanks for having me, man. This was fun. Anytime I can talk books, man.
Killer. So one that is usually by didn't come by tonight, probably because it's Friday of a long weekend. People are partying and doing their thing. Is Quentin? He's just started his own channel. It's called on YouTube called Idget Reads and Writes, and
Okay.
he's usually here. He's really cool, and he
Yeah.
loves Browdigan. And he's been
Oh,
talking to me
yay.
about Browdigan because I did in watermelon sugar content, and he's
Yeah.
on Instagram as well.
Okay.
So he's following both of us. I'm sure he's gonna check this out.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to, if he was gonna come by, I was definitely gonna talk about us and our idea going forward. But maybe I'll just tease it right there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we'll see Christopher Robinson ahead for some more content. Just wanted to have just a buddy hangout tonight for the live. Thank you
100%.
guys so much for coming by Friday night, crushing an hour with me. Chris, you're the man.
Thanks, Noah. You too, man. This was so much fun. So much
Awesome.
fun. I'm so glad we got to see all the familiar faces.
It's great to hang out with you. This is actually my first time really, other than just messages back and forth talking.
Right. Yeah.
But for over a year now, I mean,
Yeah.
we're buddies, man.
Yeah, man.
Bros.
Yeah.
Even. All right.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, buddy. Happy Friday, BookTube. Catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.